Hey everyone, I thought it'd be fun to make a video about the tools that I carry with me every day at work. I'm a primarily residential service electrician, so I got some stuff in here for troubleshooting and just, basic repairs and everything. I have other tools for more involved repairs, but they're not going to be part of this video. This is just kind of the stuff that I carry with me on every call that I go on, and it pretty much has everything that I need. I almost never have to go back to the truck to get something, but yeah, pretty much has everything that I need to diagnose an issue, fix the issue for the most part. So I usually carry this bag and this tool belt on my belt to every call I go to. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start with the tool pouch here. And the tool pouch is a tough built tool pouch. It's like, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's just like one of the smallest ones that they have with a few pockets on it. And it has this clip. This part goes on your belt right here. Open that up, it clips on your belt. And then you can just pop this off and on with that little button right there, that little release. And I have another one of these clips in my truck. I just pop this off my belt and then slide it onto that one. And it just rides there between calls and everything. So the tool pouch is pretty good. It holds everything that I need for most calls. This is more so like my light duty use. It's more so for troubleshooting the issue at first. I'm not really anything I want to beat on too heavily here, because I got the insulated screwdrivers and then this multi screwdriver here. But anyway, let's get started. Just the most basic thing here first. Not sure what to call this thing. Just I hear it called a million different things. But one of these voltage testers, not something that you rely on 100%, but just it's a pretty good sign. It'll tell you pretty reliably if you're working with voltage or not. Definitely not the only tool that you want to have when you're troubleshooting or going to calls or anything. But yeah, this was given to me on one of my first days or during my first week at the company that I'm currently working at. One of the guys just gave it to me because I didn't really have any electrical tools at that point. But I've been using it ever since for a couple of years now. I just recently, this past weekend, snapped the tip a little bit, but it's still hanging on there. I was using it to push a GFCI button back in, and yeah, it bent on me. Clip was broke off when I got it. But yeah, this thing's never really failed me. It's very reliable in my opinion. It always seems to be correct. I pretty much never get any false readings, at least as far as I know. So it's a Klein tools tester right there. Next, we'll go to these pliers and cutters right here, both Milwaukee. I got these dikes because I wanted a smaller pair to just carry with me for when you really got to get in there, like inside of a box or something, cut a wire. It's good to have a small pair on you at all times, just in case you run into it. So because I don't like carrying like the full size Klein pliers or Lyman pliers and dikes with me to every call. I mean, I usually find that I can get most stuff done with just this and a nice pair of strippers. But anyway, so yeah, these are both Milwaukee. These are really good. They're holding up very well. Never had any issues with them. They're still super smooth. Yeah, not really much you can say about them. Just, kind of your basic dikes. It's just a smaller size though. And then I got my strippers. I've tried a bunch of strippers while I've been an electrician, and these are my favorite. The only thing I don't really like about them is that these cutters, the cutters are like shear style instead of the like this, kind of like a pinch cutting style, where the two halves just meet together and cut wires that way. These pass each other kind of like scissors, so they are a little bit more fragile because I don't know if you'll be able to see. At some point I was cutting a ground wire on like a tray cable, and I kept wrenching on it. I was like, man, why isn't this thing cutting? And there's one steel wire inside of it. I guess that style of wire or cable had one random steel wire in the ground, and it bent and like marred up the edge of this. So it's not something that you really want for heavy duty use, just for that reason. It bent up the edge, but I was able to file it down, and they don't catch anymore. They, work just like they used to. And I've blown them up a couple times, but luckily it's not something that's right there too. Blown them up a couple times, but it's not something that thankfully not something that's causing them to be unusable. These are Milwaukee. I don't remember what they're called or anything like that, but they have like a thicker plier head on them, which is really good. I really enjoy that. When I first started out, like when I was in school, I used to carry a pair of strippers, like the really basic, like stamped set of strippers, and then another set of needle nose pliers. I used those to bend the wire. Like I would strip the wire ends of the wires, and then I would take out the needle nose and bend over my hooks and stuff with those. Kind of gotten away from that now. It's really nice to have them all in one tool. So you got your strippers here, and then a bigger plier head. I can find that you can do a lot more with this head style than like the Milwaukee has another set that's a needle nose instead of like this. But yeah, these are really good, and they've got the bolt cutters as well. And I like the latch on them too. And you just find that you have a lot more leverage because the handles go way further back. Yeah, these are really good. Like I said, I've tried a few different strippers, but these have been my favorite. All right, next we'll go to these, just my insulated drivers. On most calls, I only carry a square tip, for like panel covers and stuff like that. It's a number 2 square, and then just a flat head. I've found that I can get most troubleshooting and repairs done with just these 2 screwdrivers. I also have another screwdriver here with a bunch of different bits on it, but most things can get done with this because, a lot of your newer breakers and panel lids have the square tip on them. And for those that don't, you have your flat head. And also you can use this on devices. That's mostly what I use it for. And yeah, they're insulated just because when I work in panels, when you're reaching back there for the neutrals, sometimes those hot wires can be a little bit too stripped back, and you might, hit it on the shaft of your screwdriver. So I just prefer insulated for the ones that I carry with me every day. So I don't have to really think about that aspect of it. I mean, you still think about it, but you don't have to worry about it as much. I don't know. It just makes more sense for me to carry these insulated, in my opinion. And you've been using them for a while. I like this style. It's like a slim or like low profile kind of shaft here. Like this one, it just you can see it's all beat up because it kind of gets in the way sometimes of what you're trying to do. So I really like this lower profile one that's really slim. And yeah, these are both Klein, and yeah, they've been holding up great. No issues with them. But that's the 2 main drivers that I carry with me. But I also have another Klein 11-in-1. Let's see, it's 11-in-1. I got the ratcheting version. I thought it would come in handy, but I almost never use it other than to like fidget with every now and then. I almost never use the ratcheting function. But yeah, this driver is awesome because you can pop this out and then put this in an impact. You got a Phillips head there, a smaller Phillips, so that's Phillips 2-in-1. You put that there. So you got the Phillips head, that's a 1/4-inch driver. Pop that out, that's a 5/16. And then over here, you got the square drive, number 2 and number 1 there. So you got that side of it, and you can pop that in impact. And then this other side, same thing. You got, I got the flathead here. That's usually what I use for face plates, the flathead faceplate screws. a smaller flathead, and then a slightly larger one there. That's a 1/4 inch nut driver there underneath it. And then this here's a bit holder, and it came with a T25 bit in there. It's got a magnet at the bottom. I keep that in there because sometimes, every now and then, especially with residential, you never know how these people who've been repairing it over the years, they put stuff back together with all kinds of different screws. Sometimes you run to a T25 bit, and that comes in handy to have that there. Not a common occurrence, but you never really know what you're running into with residential, especially with service. And then this is a 3/8 driver right here, and same thing, you can pop that out and put that in impact. No magnets in these, of course. It's a little bit of a drawback, but it's nice to have on my tool belt because I have a bunch of different bits and drivers that I can pop in my impact without having to carry a bunch of different bits. And it also doubles as a screwdriver. So love this thing. This thing is awesome. You know, very versatile. And then here's just a shot of the tool belt here. Tough built. It's been holding up great. You know, very lightweight, very, you know, small, kind of compact, and it carries all this stuff right here. And I've, like other guys I work with, they have the same one. This one guy, he has all kinds of tools in here, like full-size kleins, full-size dikes, 3, 4 different screwdrivers. I don't know how he fits it all in here, but and I've tried to fit them down, these tools down here like that. And it doesn't really work when you have your screwdrivers in there and everything, at least not for me. So I stuck them in there by the handles, and they never fall out. So yeah, that's the tool belt that I carry. Move that stuff off to the side. Now for my bag, this is where most of my troubleshooting stuff lives, and just some other things that I you know, run into needing on a lot of service calls. I carry this with me for every call that I go to. So first, we'll get these out of the bag. I do residential, so our company wants us to wear shoe covers every call we go to. So, you know, we cover up our boots so that, you know, we don't track mud or rainwater or anything like that into the house. These got some holes in them. I need to throw them away. But yeah, I just stick them in my bag, and you know, they're there whenever I get ready to go into a person's house. Let's see, the big one here, another awesome tool, this Milwaukee 12-volt impact driver. This thing is awesome. I mean, for an electrician especially, you know, a lot of times you don't need a full size like M18 driver or anything like that. This does the job for a lot of things. I mean, for device screws, fixture screws, even drilling or even screwing like Tapcons into bricks and everything like that. This has always done the job for me. Now there's some times where, you know, if I'm doing a more install job, replacing like a meter base or you know, a panel or outside or something like that, where I know I'm gonna be driving a lot of Tapcons, I'll bring out the M18, just, you know, so I have longer battery life. Because the only downside of this, battery isn't gonna last as long as you know, your M18, of course. But yeah, very compact, very lightweight. I know they have lighter weight ones, but yeah, I have this is a Craftsman kind of like long bit Phillips head. This usually just lives right there in my impact, because I usually bring this thing out to pull out devices like receptacles and switches and everything like that. So I just pull this out of my bag and it's ready to go with the Phillips already on it. I don't have to put a different bit on it. But yeah, this thing is great. One of my favorite tools for sure. Like I said, just every aspect of it, just it's lightweight, it's powerful, has a lot of torque. It has a surprising amount of torque. Milwaukee makes some great power tools for sure, and this is one of their best in my opinion. And you got the little hook there. I hook it on the back pocket of my pants whenever I'm working, and yeah, always worked great. And it's got different speed settings and everything. I usually keep it on 2 or 3. But yeah, there's that impact driver. Let's see, pull this one out. This is a breaker finder. So what you do, you plug this into a receptacle that you're looking for. Like say you're going to change out a receptacle or something, and you need to shut it down with the breaker box. Well, you can pop this into the receptacle, and these lights will light up. And then you got this part of it. You go to the breaker box, turn this on, and then you pass it over the breakers, and it sniffs it out. Somehow this transmits a signal through the wires, and this thing will sniff it out. So you pass it over the panel a few times, and then it'll narrow it down to one breaker. And it's, most of the time it's correct. Very rarely does it not find the breaker. Every now and then it kind of seems to not work, and it could have to do with some wiring in the house or something like that. But yeah, this thing is great too, especially for me, because I work by myself for the most part with my company doing service work. So yeah, this thing saves me a little bit of time having to go back and forth trying to find a breaker. And it's actually got some other attachments too. So that one goes into this one goes into a receptacle, but let's see, where do I keep them? I've got another basic receptacle tester there. So I have a few other attachments here. This will go into a light bulb socket if you're looking for a light fixture. And then say you're looking for a lighting circuit, you could pop this into a light fixture and then put this transmitter in it, and then it'll do the same thing. You can find the breaker that way. Then of course you also have this kind of pigtail whip if you're got an open box with just wires and you're trying to find the breaker that way. Put one of these on your hot, one on your neutral, and plug the transmitter on this end, and it does the same thing. So yeah, really good tool. And this extra kit was sold separately, unfortunately. And honestly, I really never used these parts of it, but it's there if I need it. I have used it a couple times. But yeah, next I got a bunch of trash in the bottom of this bag too. It kind of acts as a catch-all as well. I didn't pretty it up or anything for the video. We got 3 Allen drivers. They're insulated. I got these off of Amazon. They've done great for me. I got my 3 sizes, 3/8, 5/16, and a 1/4 inch. These are the size for most panels, like residential panels, for your main lugs and neutral lugs and everything like that. Most of them are 3/8 I found, like Square D and like Siemens. They're usually 3/8, and there's 5/16, some older like GE, or I think GE is actually 1/4 inch. Anyway, yeah, these obviously will just help, and they're insulated because almost always working on a live panel. Now, we don't usually shut the power down for the customer to help, to diagnose their issues or anything like that. So I just went ahead and got insulated ones, just in case we ever need to loosen or tighten those main lugs whenever they're hot. So yeah, I have those in my bag all the time, and we usually always check the connections as well when we're in the panel. So these help with that. Just check the connections, make sure they're good and tight, because sometimes if you have a loose main connection, it can cause some issues throughout the house. So let's see, we've got a couple things here. This is another receptacle tester, and it shows the voltage on there. So I really like that, because our company, we take pictures of everything, the repairs that we make. So this I can plug into a receptacle that I replaced, or got powered back to the circuit or something like that. I can plug this in, it shows a green light, and it shows the voltage there. So it shows that, yes, it's working. It's got 120 volts on it. So it's really handy for that. And, also it'll tell you if you have a loose or a open neutral, open ground, reverse polarity, anything like that. Really great tool, especially for troubleshooting and stuff like that. Just lets you, because a customer will tell you, all my, my receptacles aren't working. You plug this in, and it tells you you got to open neutral, so it's not just a trip breaker or something like that, and you can go from there. And then here I've got my meter. It's a Klein multimeter with a amp clamp on it. This thing This thing is awesome. It was only like $80 or $90. Does everything that I need it to. It hasn't failed me yet, and it has these little caps on the leads there. I usually keep those on just because it's extra added protection. Every now and then we do some commercial industrial work, even though we're primarily residential. But yeah, this thing, it has all like your basic stuff. They have, you know, higher end stuff that has more settings like hertz and capacitance, all that. But this has basically everything I need. You got your AC voltage, DC voltage, your amperage for your amp clamp. You got your continuity. I use this a lot while troubleshooting. It can really help you find those shorts to ground, you know, ground faults, anything like that. If your breaker's tripping. I got resistance, and then you got temperature. Actually, it comes with a temperature probe that you can plug into the leads there, and you can measure some temperature like that. You know, if you working on a water heater or something like that, you can make sure that you know your water heater is heating up before you leave. Let's see, most of the stuff at the bottom of this now is trash. I've got some just some random stuff that I've thrown in here that just lives at the bottom. There's a rag in case I need it. Some face masks for crawl spaces and attics. I almost never use it anyway. Need to get to using those though. A bunch of screws. I throw a lot of number 8s and number 6 screws in here, just for spares in case you know, a receptacle in the place doesn't have one, something like that. So a bunch of random screws and stuff that I've just thrown in here. Oh, here's a little stubby screwdriver here, another Klein, some multi-bit that pops out, and you just got different size Phillips and flats on there. It's don't use it a whole lot, but when you do need it, it really comes in handy to have one of these really stubby screwdrivers. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of trash. Let's see. There's these bits here. They go with this little ratcheting driver thing here that I got from Klein. This comes in really handy. I mean, sometimes the space that you're working is too small for even, you know, the stubby screwdriver. So this really has helped in a pinch a lot of times. And you got some different bits that came with it, even a little 1/4 inch square bit right there. And you can even put your own bits. Sometimes I've put the bits from my 11-in-1 in here to use it to get into some tight spots. You know, like the 5/16 or something like that. But yeah, this has been really handy. You can do that to drive the screws so you don't have to do the ratcheting motion. But yeah, it's been coming handy when in some tight spots. Let's see, I got a pair of gloves and an extra set of shoe covers in there. This is a headlamp that I got off of Amazon. I just liked how low profile it was, and it just, you know, goes over your head, kind of like a sweatband. And here's where the battery is. It's pretty dang bright. I think it was like 20 or 25 bucks. Pretty dang bright. It's really good in attics and crawl spaces, and sometimes, you know, working in a utility room that doesn't have a light bulb in it, and a lot of times, so you can see the panel. You know, hands-free light. Really handy to have. I use it mostly in crawl spaces. Here I got a little thermostat multi-bit screwdriver, again from Klein. Just, you know, your basic Phillips and flats on here. Just a couple sizes. Comes in handy every now and then. Not very often do you need this, but stuff like maybe like a generator, transfer switch, you'll need a smaller screwdriver, and that helps right there. Or like doorbells or something like that. Is where this usually comes in handy. So that's pretty much it from the inside of the bag. On the outside here, I've got a bunch of Sharpies. There's a Milwaukee Sharpie there, and another extra flashlight. I think it's dead right now. I just haven't gotten around to charging it. But it's got like a front-facing light, and then a light on the tip, and a magnetic base on it. Pretty good for, you know, just setting up a light when you're working. let's see, in this pocket here, I've got some business cards and brochures and stuff like that for the company that I work for. Here I've got just a little roll of extra tape. I mostly use this for taping up the edges of receptacles or switches, if it's in a metal box, or if it's in a 2 or 3 gang box and they're getting a little too close. I'll usually tape them up with that just to have it here so I don't have to go back to the truck for it. And here I've got a Ziploc bag that I usually put wire nuts in. Getting a little low right now, but I just keep some spares on me so I don't have to go back to the truck for that kind of stuff, because I have a dedicated wire nut bag in the truck that I usually carry when I know I'm going to need a bunch of wire nuts. But if I ever find that I need one. And also I've got some of those push-in connectors right there, smaller wire nuts. These come in handy a lot whenever you're working on an older house or something like that, where the wires are burnt back so far that you can't twist a wire nut onto some new wires to help extend it out with some pigtails. I don't typically like using these regularly, just in place of a wire nut, but sometimes you don't really have a choice unless you want to, pull a new wire. And most times a residential customer is not going to want to do that if a simpler repair is possible. So these come in handy for stuff like that. And I think that's about it for what I carry. I mean, all this stuff, I would say gets used on a day-to-day basis for me. Almost every single call do I need, my meter especially. And I don't like stuffing my pockets full of this stuff. I like to have a tool bag, just, I can carry it with me, set it down if I don't need it on me all the time. Some guys, they just put everything in their pockets. I don't really, not really my thing. I don't like weighing my pants down with all this stuff, and then I'm getting into these tight spaces like behind a dryer or something like that, and I've got all this crap in my pockets. I just can't stand it. I like to have, as little as on me as possible. And this, is the only thing that's on me most of the time, and sometimes I'll have this hanging off my back pocket. But this is mostly what's on me. And if I ever need to get it out of my way, I can just pull it off my belt really fast, set it down so I can work, So yeah, that's why I kind of want to carry this bag with me. I do kind of hate carrying it sometimes, because sometimes I'm following the customer around, they're explaining the issue to me, and we're going through different rooms, and I'm holding on this bag, and it's got a little bit of weight to it. So it's kind of after a while, it kind of weighs on your fingers and everything like that. Not a big deal. Just something to complain about, I guess. But yeah, all this stuff gets used on almost every call I go to, and it's very rarely do I have to go back to the truck for any tools or anything like that. And that was kind of the point of the bag, is just don't go back to the truck. You got it all in your bag. So yeah, I hope this was enjoyable to watch. I am a residential electrician, like I said. So this is stuff that I deal with every day. It's on my mind all the time. So I thought it might be interesting to kind of go through my current setup, and maybe if things change down the years down the line or something like that, I can look back at this and kind of, see for myself, what I used to carry. A side note, why do tool companies color their tools with like bright colors like this? Like, I'm looking at this pile and it kind of looks like I got a pile of toys here. I think most of it is because of the insulated tools and everything, but they just look like toys now. I feel like tools used to look like actual tools back in the day. I don't know, maybe it's just the way that they decide to color their tools with the branding and everything nowadays. Anyway, I've kept you guys long enough, so I hope this was enjoyable to watch. And I know it's been a while since I posted a video on this channel, but I'm hoping to get back to making more regular videos. So hopefully I stick true to that and make some more videos for you guys. But yeah, hope this is enjoyable to watch, and thanks for watching.